Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Friday, 22nd day of January. Here we go. Well, typically on a Friday like this, usually I would just be telling you the halacha about that it's Parshas B'Shalach coming, and we like to put out food, bread, let's say for the birds, before Shabbos, not on Shabbos when you're not allowed to feed them, but we put it out before Shabbos, and that's for two reasons having to do with this week's Parsha. First of all, it's because it's Parshas Shabbos Shira, when we read Az Yashir about how the Jews were able to sing a great praise to God, knowing that they had seen the Egyptians drown in the sea. And that song is signified by the birds that are doing the most shira, singing always to God. And that's one of the reasons that we feed bread to the birds before Shabbos on Shabbos Shira. Also, it's mentioned in this week's Parsha that Moshe told the Jews that no mun was going to fall on Shabbos. And Dasan and Aviram, people like them, put some mun out on Friday nights trying to defy Moshe's words, showing them that mun did fall on Shabbos. And Shabbos morning, when they went out to look for the mun, it wasn't there because the birds had taken it away. And that's another reason that we praise the birds by feeding them on Erev Shabbos. Now, with the snow coming in some of the areas that are hearing this message, it's important for you to realize that when you put snow out on, let's say, your sidewalks on Friday, it's going to be totally buried by the time Shabbos morning comes. This is not a halacha, this is just me talking, saying that it might be a good idea to take that bread and put it on, let's say, some windowsills that will be covered so that you're really actually feeding the birds this bread instead of just burying it in the snow, which is kind of useless. That's not a halacha, that's just me thinking. Let's put out the breads in places where the birds can actually eat it. But more halachas about snow for you because some of you in the listening area are going to be in it on Shabbos. So the Gemara in Eruvin, I want you to know, on Daf Mem Hey, says that rain is not considered muktzah, and that's because it already pre-existed in the clouds before, and it just fell onto the ground on Shabbos, but it was always there, and it's not new or anything, and therefore it's not nolad, it's not something that just came into existence, and it's just water, and if rainwater fell into a cup, that rainwater is not like muktzah or anything. That's what most of the poskim say. And most people say that the same exact thing would apply to snow, and snow would have no status of muktzah on Shabbos, and you'd not even have to think about the word muktzah when going around trudging through the snow on Shabbos. However, one prominent posek, that was Rav Moshe Feinstein Zatzal, felt that snow is muktzah. Some of his reasoning was because he said muktzah is, we always apply the term muktzah to things that are kind of, let's just call them useless, like gravel, it just lies there on the ground, and if you wanted to pick some up, it has no Shabbos use, and therefore wasn't designated for Shabbos use and is muktzah, and therefore snow, according to Rav Moshe, would be considered muktzah on Shabbos. Also, he says it is considered nolad, as something that came into existence on Shabbos, because he does not view it as that the snow flakes were in the clouds, just the water, I don't want to, maybe vapor or whatever, but the flakes didn't exactly exist in the clouds, and therefore he did view it as nolad, and he did call snow muktzah. So what I'm basically showing you here is a large group of poskim that called snow not muktzah. Rav Moshe Feinstein Zatzal called snow muktzah. All of them still held that you could walk through the snow on a deep snowy Shabbos because you're just going to shul and you're just walking. There just happens to be snow there, but you could continue to walk. The main place where it would matter is on the making of snowballs, because that would be handling something that's muktzah. Most rabbis would say that it's possibly not muktzah to be making snowballs, and Rav Moshe would say that it is. So probably I would tell you to refrain from making snowballs, certainly if you're a grown-up. And about the little kids, well, some rabbis used to admonish the little kids not to make snowballs on Shabbos, and some didn't, honestly. So that could vary, but adults probably shouldn't be making snowballs on Shabbos. Of course, you have to consider in all of this the idea of carrying. If there's no Eruv in your area, you're not allowed to be carrying anything, including snowballs. And even those of you who have an Eruv, you may want to just check with the prominent rabbis of your community if the Eruv can be totally relied upon when 1 or 2 feet of snow and possibly some ice is falling. Can you still rely on all the strings of your Eruv to be positively up? If the rabbis of your community are saying yes, then it's yes, but it's something that you might want to check. Some people say that snowballs could have the status of building also, so that would be another reason to stay away from making snowballs. Others say that a snowball is not really like building because you know it's going to melt away, But snowman, making a snowman in the middle of Shabbos, would probably be frowned upon by most rabbis because that is much closer to bona or building because the snowman is going to hang around for more than just a day. So it is a structure that's being built. It might not be biblical building, but it's still somewhat a kind of building activity. So probably you shouldn't be making snowmen on Shabbos. Most importantly, I should say, try to be good, try to get to shul, try to daven, try to hear Torah reading, of course. Stay safe. If it's dangerous for you to be out there, then don't go out there. You do not have to endanger your life to get to shul, and we'll keep you posted on the other side of Shabbos, possibly from under 2 feet of snow. Have a great Shabbos. Have a safe Shabbos. Log on again after Shabbos for more. Bye bye.